living here, working here, doing this in my spare time, when I decided it was about time I returned to the real world and did something constructive and positive with my working life. When I started college, I intended to become an English teacher, but that goal got tossed by the wayside in favor of studying abroad, doing a lot of traveling, and taking time to tromp around in the wilderness. And so, after nearly a year of fumbling around in the High Sierra, I figured it was time to get back to my roots. After all, the idea of getting paid to read and write and talk about books with fascinating teenagers seemed like the most incredible life imaginable. Fast forward to late November of 2008. I was assigned to complete 45 observation hours in a high school English class, which sounded easy enough, but then I was placed at Prologue Early College High School. I did a little research and learned that Prologue is an alternative high school that serves as a last-ditch effort for students who have dropped out or been expelled from mainstream high schools to earn their diplomas. Great, I thought. I'm going to observe 45 hours of teenagers acting out and not taking their education seriously. Walking through the halls on my first day was intimidating. If I saw many of the students on the street at night, I'd cross the street and walk a little faster and look over my shoulder the whole time. Before class started, my coordinating teacher laid out the facts about Prologue's student body. Many of the students had been incarcerated. Many had parole officers. Many of them had babies at home, sold drugs, and lived on the streets. And somehow, they were trying to balance all of this turmoil with getting out of high school and moving on to college. I wasn't expecting very much. But what I got in return was this: students speaking eloquently. Sure, their well-thought-out comments were sprinkled with expletives, but their ideas were incredible. These students realized what they had risen from and what they had to lose if they screwed up again. I saw students concerned about their grades. Many had been on school-sponsored college visits and were excited about the prospect of going to the University of Dayton, UIC, or Wilberforce. I saw students argue about their attendance, swearing up and down that they'd completed an assignment and producing ragged papers from the pockets of their baggy jeans to prove it. I saw students trying to make it work. I watched them participate in class, turn in their homework, sit quietly and take notes while their teacher lectured on sonnets and revenge and vocabulary words. I saw students experience empathy. I watched one student get up and hug a teacher, with tears in his eyes, after a presentation on World AIDS Day where she admitted to the whole student body that she had HIV. I saw students fiercely attempt to straighten out their lives. I listened to them as they talked about their babies at home, about getting high on the weekends and regretting it, about being in jail and why they'd never go back there again. And I realized that these students, they're here because they want to be. Nobody's making them come to school and sit down at their desks every day. They truly want to go on to college, which is why last year, Prologue's 3 campuses graduated 60 students, 80% of which went on to different universities. They're really there trying to rectify their wrongs. And I realized that teaching English is not just about reading and writing and talking to fascinating teenagers about books. It's about listening. It's about empathy. It's about taking everybody's outside life into account. It's about second chances, about giving messed up kids another try to get it right. At Prologue, they do. These kids do it every day. For 3 weeks, I watched them and was amazed. Now that I'm not going there anymore, I miss them. I wonder what they'll end up doing. Will Pinky stay out of trouble? Will Celisa stay focused enough to pass her classes? Will Derek end up being a dancer like he so wants to be? And you know, I think they will. They all will. I saw just a little bit, but the desire is there. And at Prologue, that's just the first step on the hard road to success.
Road tripping with my 2 favorite allies. Fully loaded, we got snacks and supplies. It's time to leave this town, it's time to steal away. Let's go get lost anywhere in the USA. Let's go get lost, let's go get lost. Blue, you sit so pretty west of the one. Sparkle like with yellow icing, just a mirror for the sun. Just a mirror for the sun.